Are you tired of seeing old and outdated Angular code generated from your AI-based code editor such as Cursor? Imagine if your editor could churn out almost perfect Angular code using modern Angular syntax every single time. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that. And we'll do that by using my own personally tested Cursor rules file, specially tailored for Angular developers like you. As you will see, the code will be almost perfect. It will follow the Signals API in all of the areas of the code. The standalone components is going to follow the new control flow block, the new inject function, and also lazy loaded routing using the newest syntax. And by the way, if you just need the file for use in your own AI based editor, you can get the complete file for free on the link in the description. Okay, so let's get started. So, what is our goal here with this video and with this application? So, we want to create a simple contacts application in which we can create new contacts, we can edit contacts, we can delete contacts, and all of the data will be stored in memory. All right. So this is our goal. And let's see whether our AI based code editor can do the job for us. Now I'm using Cursor here. You can also use Windsurf, or you can also use any other code based editor such as VS Code Copilot. All right. So let's go into my chat view here. Now I have this integrated chat view where I have the agent set here as a default. Okay, so I have this prompt written here that I'm going to reuse in different cases so that we can actually see what the difference is between not having a cursor rules file and between having a cursor rules file. Okay, but first, what about the project? So as you can see, we already have a package.json open here, and it's an Angular version 20 project. Angular version 20 was released just yesterday, so we can use that. You can update the CLI to that, and you can create an Angular version 20 project using the Angular CLI. Now, I'm not using the LLM or AI to actually scaffold or create a new Angular project because I've tried it multiple times and it never gets it right. It's just a lot of headache because it creates it by using a very outdated syntax, and also it gets stuck in a lot of places because it has to create files and delete things and stuff like that. So it's much better, I would suggest, if you are doing AI based coding, to actually create your application or scaffold your application using the Angular CLI. That way you can also tell your own preferences. So for example, I have a preference to keep inline styles and templates in my code. So I can easily set it up in my initial project. All right. Okay. So our initial project is set here. Now we want to create a contacts application using Angular 20. Okay. It should have a contacts list, a feature to add a contact. It should have edit a contact and delete a contact. Okay. Simple enough features. Add some nice styling to make it good, but don't use any component library. Okay, we don't want to use that so that it doesn't add a lot of complexity to the code, and we just want to test the bare bones Angular syntax first. Okay, and then I say that use modern Angular syntax, specifically the new Signals API in Angular. So it's just a bit of prompt to see whether it can get that latest thing. Okay, the repository has already been scaffolded in this folder so that it does not try to create a new project inside of this folder. Okay, let's run this and let's see what it does. Okay, it's listing 4 items, it's listing different things. Okay, the first thing it has done is that created an interface. So far, so good. Then it's creating a contact service. Okay, so it's using a contact service to actually manage the state for the signal. Oh, it's using a signal directly there. That is really nice. Okay, that's something good. Great. Then we have contacts list. Okay. Okay. Not that good. You can see that it's using the old ng4. Maybe it changes it because it's an agent. So it's sort of, when it gets some problem, it updates it accordingly. Okay. What is it doing? All right. It's creating a form, the contact form. It's creating that. And if we go down here, it has added some styling here. Nice. Okay. So it has the old decorator based inputs and outputs. That's also another problem. Okay. It's using an effect. Is it using an effect properly? Well, if you can see, it's setting a signal here inside of an effect, which is a strict no-no, as you know. It's like against best practices because you're not really allowed to set new signals. Okay, so it has done it. It said your Angular 20 application is now set up with view edit delete, add contact, delete contact, modern Angular Signals API for state management, custom styling, standalone components. Okay, standalone. Does it have the Yes, you can see that it has this, even though it does not need this standalone flag now. It's a default in new Angular 19 components is default. Okay, the app will show the contacts on the home root. Okay, we can do ng-serve now, but it's giving some issue as well. So it's giving an issue with ng-if here. So it's giving an issue because it does not have the common module here. So we'll just add the common module just to get it working. Okay, let's save this. And now you can see that it works. It also needs in the contacts list here. Does it have imports here? We can add an imports here. Common module, port here. Okay. So yeah, it compiles now and we can now test it out. So let's test this out to see how this looks. Oh, great. Not bad. Although the formatting is a bit odd, but welcome to NG Vibe coded. Let's add a contact. Wow, nice form. So let's add as, so the styling is pretty nice because styling hasn't changed that much. It doesn't require any extra, any new code that you would refer to it. Okay, and let's add this. Okay, it hasn't added anything here. It's not exactly adding anything. It's not exactly deleting anything either. Okay, so these things are not working. Okay, editing the CRUD operations are actually not working. All right. So, but we could probably get it to work by making some, some modifications here and there. And I can ask the AI to actually also do this. Let's just accept all of it and let's just see what the problems are in the code. So the first is, you can see that it has the old output here. It is using new inject, so that's something nice. It is using, and in the contact form, you can see that it is using ng model based this, and it is using a very weird way to bind to this. Okay, now this should be more like a linked signal here, this form state, because we want a signal which is derived from the input, but it's also changeable. So it should be a linked signal if we do it according to the latest Angular practices. And for the effect, as I said, that this is a strict no-no, and it's one of the probably the reasons why it's not working. Okay, the rest of the stuff we can work with. If you go in the roots, it's just using component here, no lazy loading here. All right, and where is it getting the ID from? So if you go to the contacts list, where does it get? It does not have any other extra routing, so it's not adding any routing here as well either. Okay, so lots of issues, and you can see that it's less than perfect because you'll have to update all of these things in your code to actually get going. Okay, so this happens because all LLMs or all AI based models basically have a dataset that they're trained on. And because Angular has been changing quite frequently and it has been adding new features very frequently, the signals API is recent, the control flow is recent, all of the things are recent. So the AI finds it difficult to actually get the latest syntax. So that is the main reason why it is giving me all of this outdated code. Okay, so then how do we actually fix this and get our latest generated code? Well, there are a couple of things that we can do. So one thing would be to use the docs feature in the cursor here. Okay, so you can see here that there is a docs feature here, which you can refer to the official docs in your prompt itself, so that it adds it to the context of the prompt, and then it can use it to get the latest code syntax. Okay, so as it happens, we already have Angular here. So let's restore this. Use the restore checkpoint feature here. All right, it's going to revert everything back. And let's also clear out any other thing here by using the git source control, versioning control. And let's also go in a new chat here, just so that there's no existing context here. And now we can use specific signal API, and here we can refer to the new Angular official documentation here like this. Okay, and now let's see whether there is any change in the application that we get using the same prompt. So it's now referring to all of these docs here. Let's see whether it's able to be a bit more fresh. Okay, so the interface as before, and if you go in the contact service, you're gonna see that okay, it created a signal, which is fine, and it uses as read only, which is great, and it's modifying the signal in the state changes, so that is really great. It's also added a get contact by ID here, and it's actually just giving back the signal here. Okay, what about the list? Okay, so it's still using the old control flow, which I don't know why it's so difficult to get it right, because it's so much better than this one. It still has standalone true here, which it does not need for Angular 20. Okay, so this is fine. It has some styling here. Edit contact, delete contact. Okay, you can see that for state management in the component, it's using component property, it's using a direct property, which we actually would want to use a signal in a real app. All right, let's also go to the contact form now and see what the changes are here. Okay, contact form. So in the contact form, you have a form which is nice. The ng model is form.name. So, okay, so it's using a normal property. It's not using signals. It's using the old inputs and outputs. Okay, great. So your Angular 20 app is now set up with this modern, visually appealing custom styling. All code is organized in contacts folder. Let's go in the code here. And what about the roots? Do you have two roots or just one root? Just one root? Okay. It's just doing it all in one root. Okay. So let's try to run this now. And if you go in your this, let's just fix some of these. Let's accept all of these things and let's just correct the errors a bit. Okay, it says that it's expecting editing here. It's null, so it's not expecting null here. Okay, so it doesn't expect null here. So let's say it also adds a null here like this. Okay, so initially it's null. And let's say if submit, if this dot contact, then we're gonna save this. All right, and it has something. Okay, so it compiles. Does it compile? Okay, now. Okay, so it's a problem here. What is the other problem? What is the problem here? Why is it giving a problem here still? Okay, so it doesn't have the common module here, so we would need a common module here. Okay, okay, so it has two imports. Okay, so now it's compiled. Let's go and see how this looks like. Okay, so this is actually what it looks like. Okay, once you get edit, okay, so it has a nice form here, Alex Smith's. Let's save this so it actually works. If you add a contact here, let's me try to add sweb@gmail.com, and I had a phone here. Let's save this. It actually allows you to add a contact. So this actually works. Let's try deletion. Okay, so deletion works as well. So it's marginally better, but you can see a lot of the issues are the same as they were before. So signals are not being used in a lot of different places, but overall the app is still working at least. Okay, so you can use another thing, and that is the Context 7 MCP server. So Context 7 MCP basically pulls up to date version specific documentation and code examples straight from the source and places them directly into your prompt. Okay, so it helps basically make the information on different documentation websites, collects the information there, and it you can use its MCP server to actually call that MCP server and get the latest docs about specific things. And now I tried it using that, but the results were only just marginally better. So I'm not going to show this here just for saving time. I'm not going to show it, but you can try it out if you would like to. All right. Now let's jump to directly creating a cursor rules file in which we can actually solve all of the issues that we are seeing here. Okay, so let's go back to the application and let's restore the checkpoint again. I want to remove this code again, and I want to also clear the git changes, and then I just want to copy this again in a new this. Okay, now before we call this, we're going to leave this as it is, and I'm going to now give it my own cursor files, which I specifically created after some testing and after working with clients as well on my own projects and on my, for example, the dashboard project as well. And I found this really helpful to get clean Angular code, latest code, modern Angular syntax out of the box. So let me just go in Control CP and add a new cursor rule here. Okay, I'm going to call this modern Angular. Okay, so a cursor rules file is basically just an MD file, markdown file in which you can specify your rules step by step, including code. You can also give code here. So it's going to lead the LLM into the direction that you want it to. Okay, so I'm just going to copy it here. I have all of the latest stuff according to my own experience and my own work that I have done till now. So this actually covers a lot of stuff. So it has modern signal syntax, all of the signal related stuff, including code pieces. Then we have modern output syntax. Then we have modern dependency injection syntax. And we have modern control flow syntax. Then we have standalone components. And we have modern routing and lazy loading. All right. So I've used all of these stuff and categorized them according to that so that the LLM finds it easy. And I've also given very specific instructions and tested it actually on this prompt and on my own projects as well. So this works really well. And I can specify here manual, or I can also say always. So it's always going to attach it to every request, so that everything that I make in this project is going to use this rules file. So I'm going to save this. And now I don't even need to attach it, but just to be careful, I'm going to add a context here, and I'm going to do modern angular.mdc, the rule that I followed here. All right. And I've attached it to the prompt. Okay, let's see what this does. Okay, it has given a plan to me clearly about what to do. It has set up routing as well. Okay, it has added a contact interface, which is fine. The service is fine. It's using signals. Okay, it's using the contact signal as computed to get back to the to get consumed by the. It's using a computed for the get contact by ID function here as well. Okay, that's nice. Let's go to the contacts list, and here you can see it uses the modern flow finally. Modern flow syntax here finally. It's not added the track. I don't know why. So I'm going to add that later. Maybe it's going to add it later on. Yeah. And you can see it is using the input signals, the new output syntax that we have. Great. Let's go in the contact form. In the contact form, you can also see we have the if control flow block here. You can see everything is being referenced as a signal here. So signals are being used. You can see the ng model is being referred to the signal. Okay, this is not right exactly, but it's close to what we wanted. And if you go down here, you're going to see the contact is an input signal. Save click, cancel click is an output, which is nice. And then you can see there's no effect. So instead of an effect, it actually uses a linked signal, which is actually very closely modeled to how it should be actually in a modern Angular application. All right, great. So now it says that your contacts application is now scaffolded and implemented using modern Angular 20 syntax, including signal-based state inputs, outputs, standalone, modern control flow, service with signals for CRUD, clean modern styling, lazy loaded root for contacts. Okay, let's also see the root. So if you go in the root, you're going to see it's using load component, which is a modern way of doing it, but it's not creating the other roots. Let's accept this and let's also test this out. Okay, it's giving a problem here because it requires that. Okay, so as I said, it's almost perfect, but it's not exactly perfect. There is a bit of hallucination, obviously, in all AI generated code. So you need to be careful of that. Okay, so here we just need to add track contact.id or what? Okay, it says phone here. So we're just going to give it directly here like this because it's ng model. So it can two-way data bind between the linked signal here. Okay, let's save this. Okay, it says delete clicked emit. That's a problem. Okay, so in the contact form, you can see that it's giving an issue of this ng model. So it forgot to include the forms module here. Great, let's save this and let's try to run this again. Yeah, so it's contact.id here. Okay, that's fine. So it's going to be contact.id. Let's save this. And now you can see that it compiles fine. So let us go back and let us see what it has got. So it's got this type coded here. The layout is a bit off, but this is fine. This looks really nice. Okay. So let's add a contact here. You can say zoeb@gmail.com and we can save this and you can see that it's being added. You can edit it, zoebs. It's editing it fine. You can delete this. You can delete this as well. So it's working really fine. All right. And you can also see the quality of the code is really, really nice. Let's go in our components here. And you can see that we still have the standalone true here. So let me just ask it to follow the rule about standalone components. And you can see that it instantly follows that rule here. Okay, so it removes the standalone true because it's not needed here. Yes, apply it to the whole project. Okay, so it's removing all of the standalone true flags just because I asked it to follow that specific rule, right? But again, you can see that it followed about 90% of it, but some of them it remained, unimplemented. So it really depends. With an AI, you cannot really be sure all of the time. Okay, let's accept all, and you can see that we have this event here. Okay, so now the code is as perfect as it can be. Okay, so let's go one step further and let's just ask it to add routing as well, because that is, we want to test out a part of the rules file in which we are specifically asking it to use the with component input binding and whether it does that. So I just want to test out that. So divide the app into routes for add and edit flows. Make sure to follow the rules. Let's see what it does. So see, it's already searched for with component input binding. Okay, let's see what it's doing. Okay, so it's added the provide router with component input binding here, which is really nice. Let's check out the second one. So it has added two more routes, id edit and add something like this. Okay, and it's reading the contact service and making all of the changes there that's needed. The contacts list, what changes are it making to the contacts list? Let's see. Review next file. Okay, let's see what file has it done. So for contacts list, it has added an add button, go to add, and it has actually added routing to it. So you can see it's using the inject router here like this, which is nice. Router.navigate. Okay, that's nice. And the fourth one, it's making the change to the contact form. So in the contact form, it's using different states and it's added the state according to the signal here. Okay, and it says here that it has modern Angular features with component input binding, inject, signals and link signal for state, navigates programmatically, no outputs or event emitters for navigation. Yeah, because it's using routing for that purpose. Right, so you can see it has ID input here from root param. From root param directly, you can see that it automatically detects that. Okay, this is a feature which we got in Angular version 16, I think, but it's been really useful. Then in the contact, it uses the computer to get the contact by ID. Although if it's using an API endpoint, it should use resource, but currently because there's no delay, we can actually use this if you would like to. And then it has link signal. It has another signal to maintain the state of the is edit. And then it has added the is edit case and it's update contact or add contact in the same thing. All right. Great. Okay. So we actually don't need the contacts page at all, I think, because we're not using it anywhere. So let me just delete this. Okay. We actually don't use the contacts page anymore. Okay. So why isn't showing the contacts list or contact of contacts? What is contacts? Contacts is input contact. Okay. So it should not be this. Contact should be, in fact, contact should be contact service.contacts. Okay. So it has made this blunder here. So it'll be service.contacts. Okay, let's save this. And now you can see your two contacts that we have here. Let's add a contact here and let's add a phone here. Let's save this and you can see our contact has been added. We can delete it. We can delete this one. We can also edit another one. So let's edit this, Bob Johnson's. So you can see we have a working app with routing and following all of the latest, or at least most of the latest modern Angular syntax. Okay. So as a reminder again that this cursor rules file is available for free on the link in the description. You can get it right now if you want. And if you like this video and you like me to cover more AI related video, how I use AI in my own work and how you should as well as an Angular developer now in 2025, be sure to add a comment so that I can bring you more content like this. So thanks for watching and I hope you found this useful and the cursor file helps you increase your productivity as an Angular developer. I'll see you next time.